at our Facebook page at 97.7 ESPN. You can watch it streaming live on WZZN TV and YouTube as well. In fact, we have a camera we have one camera that's on me, and we have another camera that is ostensibly for the guests, but I don't know what we're doing live today, so it's kind of shooting right down the whole Radio Row now. So as you see there, as we change the camera view to the Radio Row, you can kind of get a feel for what it looks like here in the midday at Radio Row here at SEC Media Days, SEC kickoff, if you will. Don't forget to get the app. All right, get our app and enjoy all the amazing programming on all our other channels as well. We got 4 other channels for you. So you're going to want to have the app so you can check all of that stuff out. Over there in the little glass room with the slanted ceiling, playing the Platters That Matter and the Stacks of Wax. He was spitting up a little bit of blood last night as the Braves missed a field goal and lost 16-13 in the highest scoring night of Major League Baseball since ever. Okay? There were, double-digit run games all over the place, but none bigger than the 26 runs that were scored in the Braves game. By the way, the over-under for runs in that game was 10. The Vegas over-under was 10. They were over by the second inning. It's DJ Grizzy Grizz. All right, Grizz's buttons are not. Maybe your buttons got electrified. Did your buttons get? Maybe the buttons got electrocuted. Well, it's a good thing that I'm playing some of the recorded stuff from here, because maybe you wouldn't even be able to play it. Who knows? Your hotkeys? Yeah, your hotkeys might have gotten. Maybe the Braves and the Diamondbacks blew the board up when they were scoring 26 runs last night. What a run-a-palooza that was there. You were over there trying to save the radio station as we were off the air, and you were trying to get that fixed. And then the next thing you know, by the time you get it fixed, I don't even know what was the score when you got it fixed. Were the Braves up 11-9 then, or I don't know what it was. Yeah. Oh. It could. Well, it could be worse. You could be a Yankees fan and watch the Yankees get beat for the second night in a row by the Rocket City Trash Pandas. Oh, my gosh. The whole freaking Angels team was playing in Rocket City. Trey Cabbage and all of that. They're the Trash Angels. Yeah, the Trash Angels beating the Yankees. Would they please need to fire Aaron Boone? Just fire him no matter what. I don't care about the excuses or anything else. Just fire that guy. What a disaster they are. They go out there, they play. The Angels had lost like 9 out of 10 coming into the All-Star break, and then you've got the worst team in baseball, the Rockies, and they lose both series. It's ugly. It's just terrible. All right, we're going to break in here. When we come back, Nick Saban kicked things off this morning. We'll let you hear what he had to say and have some commentary on that next. From SEC Media Days, it's the Thom Abraham Show, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of
Ann
Madison
Adams
on
with
Hughes
Berkshire
Road,
Hathaway
or
Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or
WoodyAndersonFord.com.
selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
Chapman Commercial Realty, your source for Alabama commercial real estate. Chapman Commercial Realty has the experience and expertise you're looking for when making commercial real estate decisions. If it's office space, retail space, investment property, or project development, Chapman Commercial Realty is your answer. Call Bill Chapman today at 256-656-8413. That's 256-656-8413. Or find them online at chapmancommercialrealty.com.
Great food and the best live entertainment is what it's all about at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. Head to downtown Huntsville every Tuesday for karaoke on the only outdoor karaoke stage in North Alabama. Thursday night is the Valley's longest running and biggest bike night. Food and drink specials, giveaways, and live music on the patio. And the Furniture Factory menu is fully loaded with options from steaks to salads, plus a whole lot more. Featuring a weekday happy hour that starts at 3. 619 Meridian Street, downtown Huntsville, and online at FurnitureFactoryBarGrill.com.
All right. Let's hope this works. Yep. Welcome back. Thom Abraham Show. Live on location. SEC Media Days, Day 3. Here from SEC Media Days at the beautiful Grand Hyatt Regency in downtown Nashville, where there'll be an AFL team next year, Chris. I mean, I got to ask, I got all the Nashville media here, and most of these people are friends of mine. I got to ask them what they're hearing, if they know anything about it. Where is this team going to play? I mean, that's it. The AFL just rolled out 16 teams, and they're going to play in Nashville next year. I mean, it's crazy. Chris doesn't want to talk to me. Yeah. But I don't. Nashville. Nashville has a team. I'm going to go work the hall here and find out if anybody can tell me anything about it. In the meantime, Nick Saban, to similar fanfare, took the stage to kick the day off, and this was Nick Saban, including the Q&A.
Well, that was quite a fanfare. I appreciate that. Great to see everyone. I hope you've had a wonderful summer. We've certainly had our share of good times, family times this summer. SEC Media Day is, one of my favorites because this means we are closer to football season. This is kind of the unofficial kickoff for football season from my standpoint, and maybe from yours as well. This is the first time we've been in Nashville, and I think this is a great place and certainly in the heart of SEC country and a great venue for all of us. I think you all know that we went on vacation to Italy. Just to clear that up, that was our 50th wedding anniversary gift to Miss Terry from some of our friends, which I successfully got out of for 2 years. Failed to be able to get out of it this year. Didn't really want to go, but it was a fabulous time. Fabulous. And I would recommend anybody do it. Lots of good culture, great architecture, art, a lot of good things to see. And I thought nobody would know us anywhere that we went, and we got roll-tided everywhere we went. So even in the Ferrari plant, we had a tour of the Ferrari plant, and these cats don't even speak English, and we're getting roll-tide. So I guess we must have a pretty decent brand. I'm talking about the University of Alabama now, but it was an enjoyable trip, and I'd recommend it to anyone. We've had a very good off-season, with our team, good off-season program, good spring practice, very good summer. The team is taking shape. We're still evolving as a team. Lots of new players, some experienced players to go with some of the good young players that we have in the program. New coaches, evolving into the system and trying to get the young players on our team to be able to develop in the system. And so far, the players are very enthusiastic and very committed to developing the talent that we have on our team. And I think that that's a critical piece of sort of growing your team and developing your team is that you can take the talent that you have and create the right mindset to go with that talent, because talent alone is not going to help them be successful, because they're heading someplace in the SEC as well as in the NFL if they have the opportunity to get there, where everybody has talent. So if you don't have the right mindset to go with it, then you're never going to bring that talent to fruition, nor will you be able to create the kind of competitive spirit that you need. And we're talking about having resiliency and perseverance and ability to overcome adversity and the discipline to pay attention to detail and do the little things right. And one thing that kind of goes with all that is humility. When you have humility, you always think there's a better way. So you're always searching, you're always listening, you're always trying to learn. And therefore you develop really good relationships with teachers, parents, coaches, and people who are trying to help you. And you have gratitude and you appreciate that. And that creates for great relationships, on your team. And if you just think you're really, really good and you're better than everybody else, then sometimes you don't take those and develop those relationships with the same amount of gratitude, and you don't have the same kind of team chemistry that goes with players and coaches alike. So we want to stay focused on the process of what we need to do to play winning football at every position. And I'm not here to create expectations for our team. Lots of people will do that, but expectations in some way are a premeditated way to create disappointment. And I think you can look at it in your life, and that's why I say we need to stay process-oriented, not focused on the outcome, but focused on the things that we need to do to get the outcome that we want. And, you know, if you have high expectations for what you want to accomplish and it doesn't work out, it makes you focus on the outcome, and it doesn't work out, and you're very disappointed. So we would rather stay focused on what we need to do to get the outcome necessary to be the best that we can be as a team at every position and with every player. You know, we've had really good success in a lot of areas in our program, but one that I'd like to mention is academics. You know, you're really going to college to prepare yourself for the day you can't play football. That's what we always tell our players. So we want our players to have the personal development that's going to help them create the right mindset to be successful in whatever they choose to do. And we also want them to develop a career off the field, which I think is very important to long-term success because, you know, NFL stands for not for long. You know, there's only a 3.5, 4-year life expectancy in that league, so it's important for players to develop a career off the field. And we've had a tremendous amount of success. I think we're in the top 5 in the country in APR at 995. Our team, for the second time in the history of University of Alabama, has over a 3-point grade point average. And we have like 650 players that have earned degrees since 2007, and we've been there. So this is one of the challenges, I think, to have a program that creates tremendous value for players on and off the field. The 3 players that we have here today, J.C. Latham, Kool-Aid, Dallas Turner, all are on track to graduate. You know they're all really good players at their position. They've been great ambassadors for the University of Alabama in terms of the class and character that they have. And we're very, very proud of who they are as people, students, and players. The NFL draft was pretty good to us. Again, this year we had 10 players drafted, 3 first-round guys. We've had 123 players drafted in our time in Alabama and 44 first-round draft picks, which this is a part of what we want to do too, help players develop a career on the field. And that's really important to us. You know, we have some new coaches that I've been asked about, 2 new coordinators, which it's always the most difficult to replace people on your staff that are in positions of leadership. But Tommy Reese is a bright young guy who's done a really, really good job. Players relate well to him. He relates well to them. He's a good presenter. He's very bright and understands the game conceptually very, very well, and has done a really good job of implementing our offense and adding to it things that I think will benefit us in the future. Kevin Steele is a longtime defensive coordinator in this league. He's coached with us a couple times before, so he knows the system. He knows what's expected. And Robert Bala is a new inside linebackers coach. So our team has worked really hard. I'm encouraged by the progress that the team has made. I think every team has to create its own identity by what they do in terms of how they come together as a team, how people buy into the principles and values of the organization, respect and trust those things, respect and trust each other, have positive energy about how they go about their work and how they impact and affect other people. And everybody's got to learn to be responsible for their own self-determination. You know, football is a great game to take responsibility to do my job, but you also have a responsibility to the other 10 guys to do your job because they're all depending on you, so we're all depending on each other. Football is one of the most interdependent games of any game played, where everybody has to do their job for things to work out like you want it to work out. So I think we've got some good young talent on our team. I think we've got some experience on our team. I think we have a pretty good mindset on our team. Our team seems to be, you know, pretty hungry this year and motivated. A like all teams, we probably have some issues that are created by graduations and people leaving the program. Obviously, the number one that people are most interested in is the quarterback. We had a great quarterback, won the Heisman Trophy. Bryce did a fantastic job for us. So we have 3 guys that are competing for that position right now. All those players are getting better, and it's important for us that all those players get better. I don't think anybody has actually separated themselves yet to this point, and I don't think it's something that we're trying to rush. I used the analogy earlier, Grandma Sabin used to bake the best cakes in the world, and I used to stand by the oven when I was a kid and say, when's this cake going to be done? When's this cake going to be done? And she said, if I don't let it go through and take it out of the oven too soon, it's going to turn to mush, so it won't be a really good cake. So I think we got to let this sort of develop and make sure we let the cake bake until somebody separates themselves, and all the players are working hard. They all have a good attitude. They're all competing well. At other positions on offense, we probably, I think, are improved. The receivers are same guys, older, more experienced. We've got good runners. Offensive line doesn't have a lot of experience returning, but we have some really good young players who have developed nicely. Tight end, we have a transfer that can help us there, and some young guys that are developing. Defensively, we've got 6 starters back. All 5 guys that left got drafted, so challenging to replace all those guys. But again, I'm pleased with the young people that we have in the program that can develop, even though they may lack some experience. I think they're probably guys that can do a good job for us. We do have both specialists back. Special teams has been an asset for us, and certainly we want to continue to be able to affect games and impact games with how we play on special teams, and having 2 good specialists certainly is a good start toward that. So with that, I'll allow you to ask questions.
Thank you, Coach. If you have a question, please raise your hand. We'll start right here in the front. I think we'll start right here in the front of me, Coach. Dennis.
Nick, hi, Dennis Dodd, CBS Sports. By one preseason magazine metric, you've got one of the least experienced returning teams in the country. Senior starters, percentage of yards coming back. Are you aware of that? Does that matter? Should it matter?
Can you repeat the question for me?
You've got one of the least experienced teams returning, just based on starters, returning yards, stuff like that, by one preseason magazine in the country. Should that matter? Does it matter? It's something you think about?
Well, I think experience matters. I really do. But I also think that when you have young players who are hungry and have great energy and enthusiasm, that's helpful to the team chemistry as well. And when you have as many people that go out for the draft early, and I'm not complaining about that. I love it when we have players that are good enough to go out for the draft. You're going to sort of always have a young team, because you have 4 or 5 starters who would be coming back that all of a sudden are not back. And I think one of the things that I tell all of our coaches and the players, our entire team, it's really important that we develop the young players on our team, because we're always going to have a young team, and those guys need to be able to contribute early on. So their development is critical to us having a successful team, and we do have some good young players, and I think the challenge is for us as coaches to be able to help those guys develop to where they can play winning football.
Coach, we're going to go over to our right-hand side, the middle section. Wilson, right there.
Good morning, Coach. Johnny Ballpark Franks with Franks Media here in Nashville and Huntsville. First of all, I want to congratulate you with your 16th appearance representing Alabama at SEC Media Days. You now have the record for one coach at a single institution in SEC Media Days history. When you think about your tenure at Alabama, what are you most proud of so far, and what is the recipe for future success while avoiding complacency?
Well, the thing that I would be most proud of is the fact that we have a program that has helped players have a chance to be more successful in life because they were involved in the program. That's the number one thing, because that's the number one goal that we have in our program, and that I personally have for the players in our program. And we're going to continue, to do that. And to answer the second part of your question is every season is a new challenge. It's like you took a new job. You have returning players that need to develop new roles on the team, whether it's leadership or play a new position. And you have a lot of young players who are coming in that you need to develop to help them be able to play at a certain level so that you can accomplish some of the goals and aspirations that the team has for themselves in terms of what they want to accomplish individually and collectively. So, and I never look back at the past. It's always about the future. And most of the things that I remember about the past are the games we didn't win, the national championship games that we lost, the games that we lost a year ago on the last play of the game, and how that impacted our chances to have a successful season and accomplish the goals that the players wanted to accomplish, and how we could have impacted that in a more positive way. I'm always looking for a better way and always looking at what can we do to be better. And that's what we continue to try to focus on in the future, and that's a challenge that we have with every team, and this team will be no different.
Coach, we'll stay in the same section over on the right aisle.
Nick back here. Wilson Alexander from The Advocate. Nick, you've of course placed both the coordinators before and have to do so again this year. What are the particular processes and challenges that go into getting these coaches and players to mesh in time for the season this season?
Yeah, I think the most important thing is probably relationships. I think leadership, when you're a coordinator, you're in a leadership position for the players on that side of the ball. So to have good relationships in terms of how you present, how you motivate, and the players trusting and respecting the things that you're trying to implement, the things that we do, that they trust and believe that that's going to help them be successful. So that's number one. Number two, we've tried to mitigate the changes that a new coordinator would create for players by trying to keep the same system. And that's a little challenging sometimes when you have new coaches because they have to learn a certain amount to be able to implement the system so it doesn't change completely for the players. But I'm really pleased with the two new coordinators that we have. Kevin Steele obviously has been with us before, so he kind of understands the program and the expectation. And, Tommy Reese is one of the brightest young guys I've seen for a long time in this business. So he's been a great addition and brought a lot of positives to the offensive side of the ball in terms of his ideas and how he relates to players, how he presents to players. His energy and enthusiasm on the field has been contagious, and I think I see a great trust in our players with Tommy and what he tries to do from a leadership standpoint on offense.
Coach will go in the section straight in front of me, third row.
Good morning, Coach. Michael Giddens, War Report, Auburn. You've been adamant about player accountability as it pertains to their actions both on and off the field. You had a high-profile suspension in Tony Mitchell. It appears he's been able to earn reinstatement. Can you talk about what things players can do to regain the trust of the staff after these types of incidents off the field?
Look, I think there's probably some occasion where most of us in this room, including myself, did something in our life that probably wasn't a great choice and a great decision. And we always want to try to create a path for players who have made a mistake to get a second chance, but also to help educate them on what they can learn from the poor decision or judgment that they actually made. And hopefully those things don't affect other people. I think it's much more serious when those things affect other people. And so hopefully the penalties and the time missed and the education received are all going to be beneficial to the learning experience of this young man so that he has an opportunity to get an education, become a better person that has a better chance to be successful in life and also can contribute to the team. So there's a process that we try to go through when we can give players a second chance. If players continue to make mistakes over and over and over and over and don't seem to learn and make progress, they'll lose the respect of their teammates. And I think that when that occurs, then maybe it would be better if the guy was not involved in the program and would take opportunity someplace else. But that hasn't happened with Tony Mitchell.
Coach, we'll go to the section in the middle on the right-hand side. Go ahead, right here, second row.
Hey, Coach. Matt Cohen, AO.com. I wanted to ask, now that he's back in the conference, kind of what is your relationship with Hugh Freeze, especially now that he's on the other side of the Iron Bowl from you?
Well, I've always had a tremendous amount of respect for Hugh Freeze. He's a good friend. I thought he did a great job when he was at Ole Miss. He obviously did a really good job at Liberty, and I'm sure he'll do a very good job at Auburn. So I have a tremendous amount of respect for him as a coach, and I think his history as a coach sort of speaks for itself. He's a good recruiter. They had really good players at Ole Miss when he was there, and I'm sure they'll do the same thing in this current position. So, look, I'm friends with a lot of guys. There's a lot of guys out there that work for me and did a great job, but that doesn't mean that you can't respect them, but you do have to compete against them, and that's part of it. You know, when I play golf, I play with some of my best friends, but they want to beat me and I want to beat them, and that's okay. But when the game is over, you're still friends. And that's the way it'll be probably with this. It's a great rivalry, the Iron Bowl, and being successful in that game usually has some significant impact on the SEC and the West Division. So it's a game that's really, really important to us to try to continue to be able to do the things that we need to do to be able to have success. And, you know, when we play down there, it's always been challenging.
Coach, we'll go right in front of my table on the first row. Teresa.
Over there. Teresa Walker with the Associated Press. Coach, you talk about, you know, losing players to the draft, having young teams. How much can that transfer portal be of assistance, especially as we hear across all levels of college sports, allegations of tampering and things like that? So what's your take on the portal, and how helpful can it be to get some experience when you've got a young team, thanks to players you're losing to the draft?
Right. Well, we've continued to try to build our team through recruiting quality high school talent, and we use the portal sort of as you would use free agency in the NFL. When we feel like we have a need at a position, we would look and see if anybody's available in the portal that would, you know, help us at that particular position. And I think this year we brought 5 guys in from the portal to complement. I think we had like 28 freshmen maybe to go with that. But I do agree with you that having experienced players, if they're the right kind of guys and they're the right kind of people and they understand the culture of what you're trying to accomplish, can be very beneficial to your team. But I think those players need to play if they're in the transfer portal, and we should therefore need them to play. There should be some need at their position so they have an opportunity to be able to contribute, and I think that's the case in most positions where we took guys this year out of the portal. Jahmyr Gibbs was a great example of a guy out of the portal who made a significant contribution to our team a year ago. But the team has to be willing to embrace those players, which our team has always done a really good job of, and they've done the same this year.
Coach, we'll go here in the center aisle, right on the near aisle.
Kirk Bowles from the Austin American-Statesman. Nick, do you have any specific impressions from your last encounter with Texas, and could you evaluate their readiness to play in this league?
Well, I can't evaluate their readiness to play in any game. I don't coach their team. I think Sark's a great coach, and I think he'll have them ready. But I think Texas has a lot of players back from last year's team. Obviously, it was a really close, tough game. Last year when we played that game, I think they're doing an outstanding job of recruiting. They're doing an outstanding job of developing the players on our team and on their team. And game, no doubt, because they have a lot of starters back and they have a lot of experience coming back and experienced quarterback. So we expect them to have an outstanding team.
Coach, we'll go over to our right-hand side, over to the right, far section.
Hey, good morning, Coach. George Somerville from the Touchdown in the United Kingdom. You've got a player on the roster from Finland, and you've just recruited the #1 player in Germany. As the game grows outside of the US, how necessary and how realistic is it that your recruitment expands with that?
Yeah, well, I think things are obviously a little more global maybe than they've ever been. I think, football is creating a little more of an international brand in terms of where they're playing, who's playing, how they're playing. So we had the opportunity with both, our punter is also from Australia, but we've had the opportunity to get to know these young men that we recruited from Europe, really because they came and spent a significant amount of time with us, whether it was in camp or visiting or whatever, so that we could determine, do they have the right stuff to be able to compete at this level. It was pretty easy to see they had the talent to do it, but could they understand that this is a little more competitive? The quality of ball was going to be a little different, and how are you going to respond to that? But we were excited, and with the players that we have that are international players on our team right now, and the ones that we've recruited in the past, they've all made a significant contribution. Jesse Williams was one of the first from Australia, and defensive lineman who was an outstanding player, played for the Seahawks for 4 or 5 years. So, and we feel like these guys that we've recruited, all losses on our team right now and developing nicely. And we had the young man from Germany in our camp this summer and was very impressed with him. So good additions to our team. Glad to have the opportunity.
We have time for 2 more. We'll start over in that same section on the right.
Hey, Coach. Steve Moulton, WCCN out of Huntsville, Alabama. Hope you're doing well. First, favorite cake. Want to know your favorite cake since you mentioned that in your opening statement, but I would like you to speak to your quarterback room and your expectations to that this fall.
Yeah, well, carrot cake, that's easy. Look, I talked about expectations before, and we're focusing on how do we develop the players that we have, and we want to develop all the players. Everybody wants to know who the starter is. What about the backup guy who has to go in and play, like Jalen Milroe did last year against Texas A&M, how he finished the Arkansas game? It's important that all these guys continue to develop, and everybody at that position develops into where they can play winning football. I just think that I use the cake analogy because it's not done yet. It's not, there's not a decision that needs to be made at this point in time, nor are we ready to make that decision at this time until somebody separates themselves. But expectations, we want somebody to play winning football at that position. Quarterback is a unique position in that you distribute the ball on every play, whether you hand it off, whether you choose the play that we run, whether you hand it off, whether you throw an advantage throw, making decisions in the passing game to throw it to the right guys at the right time in the right place and accurately. So who can do that with the most consistency and be a leader on our team who has an impact on the other players is also important, because quarterback may be one of the most difficult positions to play if the people around you don't play well. So I think that's a challenge for us too, is to get the people around our quarterbacks to play well, so that's a little easier for them to be able to have success at the position when they get the opportunity.
Coach, we'll take one final question right in front.
Good morning, Coach. Ken Capps from Football Writers of America. I know it's 1 year away, but what impact do you think bringing Texas and Oklahoma is going to mean to the SEC?
Oh, I think it's a great addition to the SEC. I mean, you've got two great programs that have great traditions, that have great fan support. I think it, just continues to sort of the map of the SEC. It is stronger than ever. I think the competition is going to be. It's always been difficult. It's going to be even more challenging because you've got two really, really good programs who have consistently, if you look at the past, have been top 10 programs for a lot of years, won national championships. So they're going to add a lot to the competition. I think with the new scheduling that we'll have in the future, it's more good games for fans, more diversity in who you play. So there's a lot of positives, about it. From a coaching standpoint, it's going to be much more challenging to be able to compete week in and week out because I think when you look at the SEC, the thing that separates it is not the top, but the depth. How many good teams there are. There was one year where I think we played 9 teams. We won the championship where we played 9 teams that were in the top 15 or something. I can't remember what year, and a lot of that was playing good teams in the playoffs. You play a good team in the SEC championship game, but you also played a whole bunch of good teams throughout the course of the season. And that's one of the biggest challenges, I think, to be able to play with a level of consistency when you have 6, 7, or 8 really difficult games as opposed to 2 or 3. And because consistency and performance and playing at a high level becomes a premium, which in all sports, that's always the challenge. How are we going to play this day? And how are we going to accept this challenge and do it week in and week out?
Coach, thank you for your time this morning.
All right, well, I'd like to take an opportunity to thank you all for what you do for college athletics. You create a lot of interest to the fan base, and a lot of positive self-gratification for the players who play the game. And I know that we all appreciate that. You create great brands for a lot of programs, and you create a lot of interest in college football. So we thank you very much for that, and we appreciate you more than you know. So thank you very much, and roll tide. Thank you.
There you go. Nick Saban earlier always finishes with that. He always finishes with that little thank you to the media, which is well appreciated because then he kind of rips us apart throughout the year. But no, I'm just kidding. All right, good stuff there from Nick Saban. He said some interesting things there that we can break down as the show moves along. But we're going to get a break in here. When we come back, we'll set you up for hour number 2 next, right here on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Good job.
You're listening to SEC Media Days on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison
Ann Adams
on
with
Hughes
Berkshire
Road,
Hathaway
or
Rise Real Estate is
visit
the one name to know if you're buying or
WoodyAndersonFord.com.
selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
Chapman Commercial Realty, your source for Alabama commercial real estate. Chapman Commercial Realty has the experience and expertise you're looking for when making commercial real estate decisions. If it's office space, retail space, investment property, or project development, Chapman Commercial Realty is your answer. Call Bill Chapman today at 256-656-8413. That's 256-656-8413. Or find them online at chapmancommercialrealty.com.
Great food and the best live entertainment is what it's all about at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. Head to downtown Huntsville every Tuesday for karaoke on the only outdoor karaoke stage in North Alabama. Thursday night is the Valley's longest running and biggest bike night. Food and drink specials, giveaways, and live music on the patio. And the Furniture Factory menu is fully loaded with options from steaks to salads, plus a whole lot more. Featuring a weekday happy hour that starts at 3. 619 Meridian Street, downtown Huntsville, and online at FurnitureFactoryBarGrill.com.
So you're going to become one of the owners of the Atlanta Braves, Chris? Abraham Show live on location. SEC Media Days here in Nashville. Billy Napier is up in the main room. Let's go there now.
Opportunity to compete against the very best in the SEC and be a part of an athletic department that leads the way. 47 national championships, 261 SEC championships. They call it the everything school for a reason. You know, we have dynamic leadership. I've been very impressed with our new president, Dr. Ben Sass. He's actually the son of a high school coach. He was in my office yesterday. I'm excited about his impact and the ideas that he has for the future of the University of Florida. You know, I look forward to seeing him work. He's been impressive so far, his capacity, his work ethic. We're 1 year into the job, and I've been very appreciative of Scott Strickland, our athletic director. You know, I'm always thankful for opportunity to lead, but there's something special about people that believe in what we do and how we do it. His foresight, his integrity, his example, he's got great discernment, and he's very focused. You know, we continue to be competitive on the national stage at the highest level and have exceptional people all throughout the UAA. I'm humbled to be a part of an incredible culture of head coaches, a championship pedigree in all 21 sports. I mean, what a run this year alone. When you think about gymnastics, track and field, volleyball, swimming and diving, men's golf, baseball. It's an incredible year. It's really a unique opportunity for me to work alongside what I would call some of the absolute legends and the best in their sport. When you talk about Mouse Holloway, Roland Thornquist, Tim Walton, J.C. Deacon, Kevin O'Sullivan, Jenny Rowland, Anthony Nesty, Mary Wise. I'm probably missing a few here, but I've got a ton of respect for the accomplishments, the experience, and the wisdom. You know, I love this league that we compete in. I love this footprint. You know, I grew up in Northwest Georgia. I'm the son of a high school coach. My dad's family's from Tennessee. My dad's from Salina, Tennessee. Got lots of family in Crossville. My mom's parents had a tobacco farm in Sparta, Tennessee. My mom's from Huntsville, Alabama. I spent 13 years in the state of South Carolina. I've got 4 years as the head coach of the University of Louisiana, and now to be the head coach of the Florida Gators. So this is special to me. And I'm humbled with the opportunity. You know, the SEC continues to dominate. The college football playoff, winning 4 in a row, 17 years in a row. They continue to lead picks in the National Football League draft. The attendance, 24 straight years with the most attendance. Stands out to me is the level of commitment and alignment by each institution. You know, their passion, the competition, their desire to win. The margin of error is small in this league. You know, we know that. We lost 5 really close games, one-score games, even into the final few minutes of the game. There's mismatched players. There's quality depth. Combine that with the caliber of personnel, the diversity of scheme, the great coaching, the challenges of going on the road, given the venues and the fan bases. You know, I want to congratulate Commissioner Sankey on the extension. I've really been encouraged by his leadership. He's got an extensive staff, well-deserved, high-level decision-making, complicated problems. This guy's navigated a number of, I think, historic issues in a really unique era, and the SEC is positioned for success to continue that dominance. You know, there's stability and great momentum headed into the 12-team college football playoff. You know, really excited about the player representation that we have here today with us. You know, these guys are here because of feedback from their teammates in all parts of the organization. It's no accident that they're here today. Kingsley Aquakin's a 3-year starter at center. He's a COVID junior. He's an undergraduate degree in criminology last December, and he'll get his master's degree in December in tourism and hospitality. He's an SEC honor roll player, and he's from Jacksonville, Florida. Ricky Pearsall is a senior receiver. He graduates this spring in Education Sciences. He's an SEC Honor Roll member. He's from Chandler, Arizona. And finally, Jason Marshall is a true junior cornerback who's an anthropology major. He's an SEC Honor Roll member. He's from Miami, Florida. You know, the most powerful tool that we have in leadership is example. And these guys are part of an accountability group going all the way back to January that has accepted that challenge. They embody our values. You know, this group has integrity. They take great pride in being a great teammate. They're very disciplined in their approach. They've always been known for their effort. It's a tough group, and I think they've got confidence and belief as a result of a lot of hard work. People are never more committed than their leaders. These guys have a voice on our team. They've got great awareness. They're really intentional about their approach and their ability to influence other people. I'm excited about the energy and the attitude of this accountability group and these three guys and what they bring to our team. You know, I think in January, we went through an extensive, detailed review of year one at Florida. You know, as an entire organization, each individual, each department, you know, what worked, what didn't work, how do we adjust, how do we adapt, how do we evolve? And we started the process of getting our 2023 team ready to go. You know, this is a new group of players. We have a few new staff dynamics. But one of the things I'm encouraged about is we have 93% of our team was with us in January. We had 27 mid-year players. We've got a great group of veterans that have experience, that have wisdom from the past. We brought in an influx of young talent, and I feel really good about what we did in the portal. You know, we added 10,000 snaps and 123 starts with that group. You know, I'm excited about the compound effect of year two. You know, the consistency in process, the consistency in our systems. I think we've defined expectations. We've renewed accountability, and there's a different level of discipline, and there's a different level of detail as we work today. You know, we've benefited from executing the entire offseason in our new facility. The Hebner Football Training Facility has allowed us to be more efficient. We have great resources to offer our players. And we found that the players spend more time in the building, therefore they spend more time with each other, and it really has affected our team dynamic. You know, one of the things we're not going to do with our team is we're not going to allow outside opinion or a creative narrative to define the reality for the 2023 team. You know, the head ball coach, a Gator legend, Steve Spurrier, said it best when he said, "This is talking season." And the games are coming, and in the meantime, this group will continue to work like it's been working. You know, we're in the week 7 of a 9-week program. It's important that we stay focused as we finish up and we transition into training camp. The next 5 weeks will be paramount for our football team. You know, I believe life's about people. I believe the game of football is about people, and it's important. This is our great game. You know, I always try to keep it in perspective. I loved to play this game. You know, this is a game I love to play. If I could keep playing, I'd continue to play. It's a game I love to coach. You know, I'm going to enjoy doing it. I'm excited to coach this team, this group of players. I'm proud of this group, and I'm looking forward to this coming year. You know, I'd like to say a thank you to the media before we get to the questions. You know, our game is more popular than it's ever been, and that's a result of your profession and the pride that you take in what you do. You know, I want to tell you and challenge you to keep telling the great stories about sport and what it can teach us about life. Also, continue to be encouraged about the way you tell stories about how sport can impact people. The game of football continues to do great things. It's important that we continue to let it teach us great things. Questions?
Thank you, Coach. If you have a question, please raise your hand. We'll get a microphone to you. Pam, Aaron, and Asher, please, if you can, stand so we can see you more clearly. We'll start right up here in the middle, right here in the middle of the section in front of me. Laney.
Laney Michelle, Knoxville News. I wanted to talk to you about how your name came up on the list when looking at probable Tennessee coaches. How does that whole situation make you feel, and how does the entire Pruitt situation make you feel?
You know, we were fortunate to have success at the University of Louisiana, and it was really a result of a lot of people's hard work. We had fantastic staff. We had a great group of players. And that created opportunities for myself and other parts of our staff. And it's humbling. That's what I would tell you. But all the success we've had has been a reflection of a lot of great people's hard work, and thanks for the question.
Coach, we're going to go over to our right-hand side, to your right.
Coach. Brooks Austin, Dogs Daily. I know you have a pretty extensive offensive background as a coach. The 4-2-5 Mint defense has kind of taken over college football, including your football program. What difficulties does that defense, particularly the front, provide to an offensive staff, and why do we think so many programs are running that defense right now?
Well, I think the key to playing really good defense, obviously, is you would obviously start with great personnel, but I think having an identity, right? And I think playing complementary football, I think we've decided to go the direction that we have on defense because we want to do just that, right? We want to have a great working environment, great collaboration between the offense and the defense. It's important that you're on the same page throughout the entire offseason relative to scripting, installation, practice format. I think the defense that you're describing there creates issues because of the variables, right? I think the variables not only in the front, the pressure variables to go along with the back end. Playing good defense, there's a lot of factors, but I think your practice environment and your approach to complementary football are key.
Coach, we're going to go right down the middle aisle, about halfway back.
Hey, Coach, Chris Phillips, the Spurs Up Show. You mentioned the way that the transfer portal helped you. Talk a little bit about Graham Mertz, the quarterback you picked up from Wisconsin. What made him the right choice for you, and what's the battle like in that room between he and Jack Miller?
You know, I've been very impressed with Graham. Graham's a 32-start player. He's played over 2,000 snaps at a really established program in Wisconsin. We went through an extensive process to make that decision. And I think Graham's an accomplished player, but more importantly, I've been impressed with the person, the leader. This guy has an incredible motor and work ethic. He is in the building, and he is fanatical about his preparation. So I think that has helped the competition. I think it's caused Jack to respond. Jack's had an incredible offseason, and he's in position for a great camp. And we've been really pleased with a young player, Max Brown. He's had a good summer. He's impressed his staff, and he's impressed his teammates. So we're excited about that competition. It'll go into training camp, and we'll make a decision when we see fit for the team.
Coach, we'll go over to our left, the fourth row.
Hey, Coach, over here.
Over
Sorry.
this.
Bradley Davis, WAPT in Jackson. So given your success in the Sun Belt Conference, first, do you still keep up with the conference at all? And two, what are your thoughts on the recent addition of Southern Miss down there?
Yeah, no, I would say that, our time there was fantastic. I think that we hit it just right. They just went to the East and West Division formats. It's in the SEC footprint. That's the thing that was exciting to me because you have that same passion for the game of football. I do know they've expanded, and certainly Southern Miss is in that SEC footprint, and it made a ton of sense, right? I think they have really good leadership. They've had a number of commissioners that have contributed to that, but much like our league, each one of those schools, there is alignment, there is a commitment, and they care about football and want to win. So it was a great experience and a great conference. It's proved to be very competitive nationally.
Coach, we'll go to the middle section just to your right, about 4 rows back. There we go.
Hi, Coach. Travis Gailey, orangebloods.com. You were talking about recruiting in the portal, but specifically on recruiting, I know you've got a four-star quarterback, DJ Lagway, committed. You can't talk about him. But recruiting in general, how important is Texas, the state of Texas, to your recruiting plans moving forward? And does the addition of UT and OU help in that effort?
Well, I think when you start talking about putting a really good football team together, you've got to have a sound evaluation process, and then certainly you got to have a really good product to recruit to. You know, I think it's one of the things that we benefited from at the University of Florida. You know, we spent an entire year completely rebuilding the player experience. And we've got a unique combination that we offer, right? And I think players from all across the country. I do think that there's research relative to, you know, kind of what we call the 5 core states, Florida, Georgia, the Carolinas, and Alabama. But when you're at a brand like the University of Florida, you have things that we have to offer. Given who's joining our league, there's no question with the direct flights that we can get in here from Texas, we'll be competitive out there. And if a guy's a good enough player and passes the evaluation physically, has the right character, we can get him on campus and we'll have a chance.
Coach, next we'll go right in front of me, just to the left here, over on the left.
Hey, Coach. Garrett Chapman, 92.9 The Game in Atlanta. I know you just signed a 2-year extension with Jacksonville, but would there ever be an interest to make a home-and-home with the Georgia-Florida rivalry, or maybe even turning it into a Jacksonville-Atlanta transition?
Well, I think that the Florida-Georgia game is an incredible rivalry. I think there's history there. There's tradition there. There's a ton of economic implications relative to these decisions. We're going to have to cross that bridge at some point due to the renovations in Jacksonville. But there's benefit to a home-and-home from a recruiting perspective, and I think there's also benefit from an economic standpoint for both athletic departments and institutions. So, you know, right now we got 3 more years of the same model. I got enough grass to mow right now, so I'm going to focus on the things that are in front of me.
Coach, we're going to go right in front of you. Bob, second row, right in front.
Hey, Billy, Bob Holt, Arkansas Democrat Gazette. There's been kind of a trend with head coaches who were used to being play callers for a long time, turn that over to a coordinator. I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, you're still going to call your own plays. If that's the case, well, why do you want to keep doing that? And what do you maybe think about the trend of that other guys are getting away from that?
Yeah, no, I think it's a relevant question. I think it was part of our evaluation, you know, this offseason. You know, I think like most parts of our organization and our process, we will improve in year 2. I think it's something that we'll continue to evaluate. I like having my hand on the scripts, the installation, that process. I think I can help establish our identity and personality as a team through that process. And I'm always, I think if you get too far away from that, I think that there can be some things from a sustainable and repeatable part. So I'm going to continue to do it, and I think each year, much like all parts of what we do, we'll continue to evaluate.
Coach, we'll go all the way to the back of the room, right in front of the camera in the back.
All right, Culver Jones, CFBAD podcast. So, Coach, the Utah Utes have not lost at Rice-Eccles since COVID. I was wondering what y'all are going to do to prepare for that game, and also if the altitude is a factor as well in the preparation.
You know, one of the things that, you know, we've got a unique schedule this year, and that starts with a Thursday night opener at Utah, and it's a challenging place to play. You know, I spent a year in the Pac-12. I was at Arizona State. We actually went there to play, so have a little bit of a feel for what that's going to be like. But we've got a ton of respect for their program, the brand of football that they play. It's less about where we're playing and more about their brand of football. So there's no question they're one of the more established and successful programs in the country. You know, I do think we've spent a lot of time with our performance team in the offseason researching the altitude. We've done a lot of work with NFL teams that go through that process consistently. We've got a good plan. All of that's already mapped out and ready to go. So it's going to be a great challenge and one that we look forward to.
Coach, we're going to go in the center section in front of me, about halfway back.
Hey, Coach, Mitch Gibbs, WGSO Radio. Appreciate you doing a couple interviews with me when you were at UL. Really appreciate that. So I got a 2-part question. First, I want to ask you about the transition from that conference now to the SEC in your second year. And then, of course, the opportunity to play in Baton Rouge this fall at Tiger Stadium, Death Valley. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, I think I've had the transition question quite a bit. I think there's 3 really variables that were really a big adjustment. There's no question the pace of recruiting. You know, this was my first time at the Power 5 level with early signing period and how that has affected the recruiting calendar, right? The workflow, the evaluation process, the recruitment process. So there's definitely been an adjustment. I think year one to year two, we've made really good improvements in that area. I also think that heck of a year to take over a program, right, with the portal and the NIL coming to the forefront. Those were challenging, right? In particular, you're trying to establish trust in a really short amount of time, and those create a dynamic on your team that can be a challenge, right? So I think we've come up with really good systems to attack those areas, and I'm pleased with the progress that we're making. And again, each part of this, it's very fluid, and we'll continue to adjust and adapt as we go. But I'm pleased with the year one to year two transition relative to the recruiting calendar, NIL, and certainly the portal.
Okay, we're going to go over to the right-hand side. Near out.
Hey, Coach. Steve Moulton, WZZN from Huntsville, Alabama. Hope you're doing well. You've talked quite a bit about the portal, and that leads into chemistry, team chemistry. I know it changes from year to year. Does the portal make it difficult to read the chemistry of your team? And where do you think your team chemistry is coming out of spring?
You know, much like I described earlier, I think one of the things that we benefited from is that 90+% of our team has been there since January. We had 27 mid-year players. We did minimal work in the spring portal. But, I think it's a reality in college football right now, especially in the earlier stages of building a program. You're going to have to do work in the portal. Now, again, we want to continue to recruit the best high school players in the country and establish some stability from a roster management standpoint and do less work in the portal in the future, right? But there's no question it's an avenue to acquire a player. There is a chemistry dynamic, and I think you got to be intentional about all parts of building the team and that connection and that togetherness that's required become even more important. So I think you've got to be intentional in terms of the off-season program, the things you do throughout the spring semester, the summer training camp, and even in season to create those relationships, some of which can be in a short window of time. It's a great question.
Okay, we'll go back down the center aisle, almost near the back.
Hey, Billy, Zach Goodall with AllGators.com. You've spoken about the challenges with NIL in the past, having to really learn on the fly. In your position with having to change partnerships with a collective and just the challenges that you've seen over the past year, could you reflect a bit on some of those and what you've been able to learn from that and ultimately the progress that you believe you guys have made there?
Well, I mean, we've learned a lot. I think every head coach would tell you that. We kind of walked into an unprecedented time in college football, and there was no manual for it, right? So, and listen, this thing continues to change. There's a number of variables that contribute to that, but I can tell you at the University of Florida, I'm very pleased with where we're at. We've benefited from a group called Florida Victorious who has great leadership. I think the state laws have allowed us to go down a better path. I think we're benefiting from that. But we've got great leadership. Again, we're in a state with 22 million people. There's strength in numbers relative to NIL, and I think we've created some great opportunities through this organization that is doing NIL, I think, with class and integrity. They've got a very established process, and I think our players have benefited. And it's helping the Gators, there's no question about it.
We have time for a couple more. We've got two in the back and the left-hand side, all the way in the back.
Dave Schultz, 103.3, the GOAT from Lafayette, Louisiana. Coach, how can you incorporate the tight end more into Florida's offense?
Dave Schultz, long time no see. Dave, it's one of the areas on our team where we're young, right? I think safety and tight end are areas where we're going to have some good, young, talented players that are going to have to contribute to our team. So that is very much a work in progress. I am pleased with the growth we've seen this summer. We'll have some young players in that room that are going to have to play, but I'm excited about that group. And we'll continue to play the tight ends much like we played them in the past.
Okay, we'll take one final question back in the same section.
Rob Brown, Sideline Sports in Memphis. How much of what you learned coaching with Dabo Swinney at Clemson, Nick Saban at Alabama, that do you still use today, and how much of what you learned is obsolete in today's world?
Yeah, no, I think obviously two of the better coaches in the history of our game, if not the best. And I would say that a lot of the things that you learn from those guys stand the test of time. I think simple things like defining expectations, being really consistent and fair, everyone understanding their role, and kind of putting the ego aside and working to earn more. I think they're good at what they do because they have conviction about what they want their football team to look like, right? And there's a big picture plan relative to purpose, right? I know for me, our purpose is the player, right? We want to create a life-changing organization that has impact on the person, the student, and the football player. And I think we've learned those things. I'm excited about some of the things that we've implemented to do just that. If we can connect the dots with the degree, the experiences that we can create for our players through our alumni, if we can equip, if we can educate and to teach and develop football players, we've got a great opportunity to do those things in the future as well.
Coach Napier, thank you for your time this afternoon.
Thank you.
And I think there's a lot of pressure on Billy Napier. I know it's only year two. They're going to have to be very, very patient with him. It would take him 4 years to get that thing right. And I don't know if they'll give him 4 years. We'll see. Oh, there's David Cutcliffe. I didn't even know it's a coach cut. Why do all these coaches look younger after they're out? It's so weird. I saw Derek Mason, the former Vanderbilt coach, running around and everything, and he looks all happy and young and everything else. When he was the coach at Vanderbilt, he looked like he was going to the guillotine every time I saw that dude every week. All right, we get a break in here. We will come back. J.C. Latham was on our set this morning with the boys, and we'll let you take a listen to what the outstanding offensive lineman of the Alabama Crimson Tide had to say next, right here on the Thom Abraham Show, SEC Media Days on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Media Days on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison
Ann Adams
on
with
Hughes
Berkshire
Road.
Hathaway
Or
Rise Real Estate is
visit
the one name to know if you're buying or
WoodyAndersonFord.com.
selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance, to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
Chapman Commercial Realty, your source for Alabama commercial real estate. Chapman Commercial Realty has the experience and expertise you're looking for when making commercial real estate decisions. If it's office space, retail space, investment property, or project development, Chapman Commercial Realty is your answer. Call Bill Chapman today at 256-656-8413. That's 256-656-8413. Or find him online at chapmancommercialrealty.com.
Great food and the best live entertainment is what it's all about at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. Head to downtown Huntsville every Tuesday for karaoke on the only outdoor karaoke stage in North Alabama. Thursday night is the Valley's longest running and biggest bike night. Food and drink specials, giveaways, and live music on the patio. And the Furniture Factory menu is fully loaded with options from steaks to salads, plus a whole lot more. Featuring a weekday happy hour that starts at 3. 619 Meridian Street, downtown Huntsville, and online at FurnitureFactoryBarGrill.com.
Welcome back. Thom Abraham Show, live on location, SEC Media Days. Day 3. Just heard from Billy Napier. J.C. Latham was on with the Talking Ball this morning. We're going to share that with you. But this news just coming down the pike from the AJC. They have fired the investigative reporter after making corrections to the report on the claim of sexual abuse allegations against Georgia football. The story posted just not too long ago. After finding 2 elements of its story of its investigation into Georgia's football handling of sexual abuse allegations not to meet its journalistic standards, the AJC announced Wednesday it has fired reporter Alan Judd. The university's athletic association had demanded the article be retracted through a 9-page letter through general counsel, but the AJC said it would not. The school then met with reporters last week to push back on the claims made in the article. By the way, this is very unusual for a school to, get involved like this. The AJC did issue corrections to the June 27th article. It said in a story posted on its website Wednesday afternoon. It would be today, I imagine, that's the Wednesday afternoon they're talking about it. And it said, quote, "Our editorial integrity and trust our community has had in us is at the core of who we are," Editor-in-Chief Leroy Chapman said in a statement. After receiving the university's letter, we assigned our team of editors and lawyers to carefully review each claim in the 9-page document we received, along with some additional source materials that supported the original story. We identify errors that fell short of our standards, and we corrected them. So there you go, dealing with that. And it said the AJC said that it could not substantiate that 11 players remained with the team after reports of violent encounters with women. quote, the precise count of 11 players could not be substantiated under AJC standards, according to the AJC, which removed and adjusted several paragraphs of the story that depended on that count and edited the headline. So there you go. That's talking season stuff. And now there has been a firing of the reporter that ran that story. I also have the pleasure of having my show produced back in studio, in the palatial studios of 97.7 ESPN The Zone by an owner of the Atlanta Braves. That's right. Grizz, you became an owner of the Atlanta Braves today. Congratulations on your stock purchase of the Atlanta Braves. Is there anything that you have in mind, changes that you're going to make now that you are an owner of the Braves? Are you thinking of anything that you're going to? And secondly, what did you pay for the stock? Because it opened at $52 a share, and it's now down to $45 a share in its Series A stock offering, which I have no idea even what that means. But why is your stock tanking? Is it because they've lost 3 in a row, or what? Yeah, or commemorate, either one. Yeah, commemorate. I don't think commemorize is a word, but okay, it's one of them. Yeah, I hear you. Yeah. I think it's great. So what changes are you going to make at the stockholder meeting? I mean, are you going to, free hot dogs for life for everybody, right? Yeah. And we're going to a game coming up, April or August 14th. I think we're going August 14th. We're going to broadcast from over there, and you're going with us. And we're going over there to take in a little action. The stumbling, bumbling Yankees will be at the Braves, and we'll do our show from there and hang out for the game later on. That's going to be cool, and that'll be the first game we go to under your new ownership of the Braves. Yeah. Yeah. The first thing you need to do is get rid of those pajama uniforms, because every time they wear those pajamas, they get whacked, and then their record in those things are not good. The 70s type gear, it's not. That's yes. How about Friday night Reds and Sunday creams? I like the Sunday cream. Yeah.
During the playoffs here.
Right.
This is the Thom Abraham.
I hear you. All right. So I want to play the J.C. Latham cut here, but it seems like every time I hit this one particular button, I'm hearing me. And I don't know why that is. Why when I hit that button? Yeah, I know that.
It is home to the Fit Light system.
No, I'm hearing the feed from the. I'm hearing something else. Oh, from here? No, it's not from here. There's nothing playing here. That's weird. Every time I hit that button, instead of playing something on a computer, I'm hearing me. Unless I'm not sure what it would be. I'm not sure why that would happen. But I'll tell you what, we're due a break anyway, so we'll take the break here because nobody, if me, I'm the number one guy to stay on the clock, and I'm supposed to break at 41, so I'm breaking at 41, and then we'll figure it out. We'll come back, and you'll hear J.C. Latham on Talking Ball this morning right here, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Every time I press it, it's playing something. I was just hearing a commercial with Scott.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, what?
Is it still playing? Is it still playing? Hit the unmute. Unmute it.
No. So what was it?
This is your master down here.
Oh, what is that?
It was playing something up there.
Oh, okay. I didn't even see it. All right. Okay. So don't play that.
Good, man.
I wonder what is it? Oh, you put it down here, so should I start it from down here?
That's where they all go.
Okay.
But you have to hit.
So what did it do? It went to the next, it went to some
standards and the Alabama standards. How tough was that to kind of go through some?
It was tough. We had to be mentally ready to accept the fact that we were coming off of that year of a loss of a national championship, and previously before that we won the Joe Moore, so the standard was already set high. So it was tough having those 2 years, especially last year too, not reaching our goals. So I mean, we just learned from it.
Yeah.
It's experience. I just told somebody else that's life's best teacher, experience. Learning from your losses, learning how to take it, and learning what you need to do to be better.
And careers go by so quickly at Alabama. I mean, you're now already a rising junior. What kind of role have you taken with Caden Proctor and Elijah Pritchett? Guys, Pritchett was hurt last year, but went through his first spring, and then Proctor. Talk about mentoring them, because they're going to look to you a lot for leadership.
Just trying to be there whenever they need me. I sit right next to Elijah Pritchett and Caden Proctor, I think, since 2 seats down from me. So anything they need me to do, I'll be there for them, whether it's working out or off the field aspects or watching film. I put all of the tackles in the group chat. We obviously got an O-line group chat, but I put all the tackles in the group chat. And just let them know, like, yeah, if you guys have any questions or if you guys are confused on a look or whatever the case may be, I'm here for you to let you know, because we're all trying to compete at the end of the day, but we're all trying to win as a group. So.
All right, final question for you. How do you like it when you hear that Alabama's going to be really physical up front?
I love it.
Is that what
I love it. Yeah, that's the goal, man. Like, this year we're going to inspire fear. Like, guys aren't going to want to play against us. We're going to hit them in the mouth 4 quarters straight and get in, get out, and do our job.
Well, we look forward to it, man. Stay healthy, and we appreciate the time.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, JC.
All right, so that was J.C. Latham earlier today on Talking Ball. And the thing that I gleaned from that, you try to read between the lines sometimes at these events and when you hear players talking and so on. J.C. Latham seemed like he was very much communicating that this is a football team that is going to play some smash mouth football, that they're going to go back to putting their hand in the dirt and coming off of the ball and rocking people and running the ball. And it seems that obviously that is a theme. The fans have been talking about that, but when you hear the guy who's going to be either the left or right tackle of the team saying that, we are looking forward to hitting people in the mouth for 4 straight quarters, that's the theme. That's what's going on there. The other thing that, again, reading between the lines, when you look at that and you hear people speak here, Nick Saban made a very interesting comment earlier regarding players that come out of the portal. They have 5 players that they pulled out of the portal this year, 28 freshmen coming in. So it's not like the whole team is built on portal players, but we have seen other players that come out of the portal. And what he said about pulling a player out of the portal, Nick Saban said players in the portal need to play. So if we take one, we need to give them every opportunity to play, close quote. Tyler Buchner? I mean, is that what he's telling us then, right off the bat? I mean, I think it is a competition. I'm a Ty Simpson guy. I think ultimately he's the best answer for them. But it almost, when you read between the lines, when Nick Saban says that players who come out of the portal need to play, it makes you think that maybe Tyler Buchner, it's his job to lose. That's just me thinking and reading between the lines. Saban, by the way, so comfortable up there. He mentioned the fact that they've had 123 players drafted in his time into the NFL, 44 first-rounders in that time. It's absolutely ridiculous. He did say that there are 3 guys competing for the quarterback job and that no one has separated and that they don't need to rush it. Like Grandma Saban's cake. He says you can't take it out of the oven too soon, so they don't need to rush it. And by the way, 16th media day for him, which is the most in media day history. All right, let's get our final break in. We'll come back and wrap it up next right here on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
You're listening to SEC Media Days on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison
Ann Adams
on
with
Hughes
Berkshire
Road,
Hathaway
or
Rise Real Estate is
visit
the one name to know if you're buying or
WoodyAndersonFord.com.
selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on BAB.
It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance, to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
Chapman Commercial Realty, your source for Alabama commercial real estate. Chapman Commercial Realty has the experience and expertise you're looking for when making commercial real estate decisions. If it's office space, retail space, investment property, or project development, Chapman Commercial Realty is your answer. Call Bill Chapman today at 256-656-8413. That's 256-656-8413. Or find them online at chapmancommercialrealty.com.
Great food and the best live entertainment is what it's all about at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. Head to downtown Huntsville every Tuesday for karaoke on the only outdoor karaoke stage in North Alabama. Thursday night is the Valley's longest running and biggest bike night. Food and drink specials, giveaways, and live music on the patio. And the Furniture Factory menu is fully loaded with options from steaks to salads, plus a whole lot more. Featuring a weekday happy hour that starts at 3. 619 Meridian Street, downtown Huntsville, and online at FurnitureFactoryBarGrill.com.
And welcome back, Thom Abraham Show. Just fitting to wrap up things here on a fast-moving Wednesday, a fast-moving hump day. And, of course, coming up next, the Paul Feinbaum Show, and there'll be plenty of interest there, I'm sure. And I'm sure that Paul spoke earlier with Nick Saban, probably talked to him. Yeah, you guys were watching on WZZN TV. We're seeing my belly, nothing but my belly, but I got to stand there for a minute. I got to stand up a little bit. There you go. And the Buddha rubbling the Buddha belly. But I'm sure that you'll hear from Nick Saban and only the way that Paul Feinbaum can interview him, that's for sure. And then it'll be, of course, the drive coming up tonight. And I'm not sure what they got special. I know there's some sound. I saw Steve talking to Dallas Turner earlier, so I think they'll have that. He was talking to Eli Cox, the offensive lineman from Kentucky, so they'll have that. I'm not sure who else they got scheduled. You got anybody else sexy scheduled tonight for the drive? David Cutcliffe, who I commented on earlier, who was right next to us. David Cutcliffe looks great. He looks like 10 years younger. You get off the sideline, and you get 10 years younger. So David Cutcliffe will be on as well later on the drive, and whatever else falls out. You never know, especially in the 5 to 7. It gets a little squirrely in the 5 to 7. You know, you don't know what you're going to find at that particular point in time. So we'll see what happens there as well. Grizz, we got Braves later on tonight. Are your Atlanta Braves playing tonight? Grizz is now an owner of the Atlanta Braves. I think they're playing later on tonight, and you'll hear that game as well after the drive. Yeah, maybe not. I may have just 6:20. Well, 7:20. It'd be after the drive. Yeah. All right, that's going to do it for us today. Paul Feinbaum is next. I'm Thom Abraham. This is 97.7 ESPN The Zone.